Yay, it's so good to see everybody. I'm happy you guys could make it. And I can't believe it. It's already going to be, 2 years? Like almost 2 years, something like that.
Crazy.
Yeah, very crazy. And I just wanted to touch base with everybody and see how everything's doing and see if we have the same stuff going on in our markets. Because out here, definitely seeing a change. I guess in the beginning of COVID and everything, they're like, everybody's leaving New York and everybody's moving away. And it was definitely true in Manhattan, right? Like it was everybody left Manhattan almost. But Brooklyn still kind of stayed a little busy.
We've stayed busy the whole time. I mean, I think we told you that. Like, everybody wanted to move to South Carolina, and everybody still wants to move to South Carolina. Like, I've talked to 2 different people in the last 2 days.
Yes. Well, we have a home set of homeowners right now, right? That we're trying to get over there.
We do. Yep. They're working with Michael on our team. So that family has moved several out of New York and Long Island. It's been really interesting. Our market is just as crazy as ever. So
it hasn't slowed down at all. Do you still feel like you're in a high seller's market?
100%. Okay. It's just crazy. We listed a house last week so our average price point here is about $340 to $350. And we listed a house last week that was $975, and we took a cash as is, no contingencies offer. Immediately overnight. The last one that I listed, not the last one, like two under contract last week. One was, as far as listings go, one was in my neighborhood, but it was priced high and it went under contract immediately as is. And then we had another one that had like 3 or 4 offers on it. A few weeks ago, I listed one that had 13 offers on it, and it went 20 over. It was 170, listed at like 175, and we got 200 for it as is. No appraisal contingency. No, I mean, it's just crazy around here. We're tired, our team's feeling
It's a good problem to have.
It is. So
you're in South Carolina?
I am. I'm in Greenville, in the upstate. So we cover from the Georgia border to the North Carolina border, like in the western corner of South Carolina. So.
Okay, John, where are you from?
We're in Salt Lake City and currently expanding to Central Florida.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, and our market has been crazy for 2 years, but the last 2 weeks, I'm noticing quite a bit of a shift. We've gone from like 5,000 to 7,200 homes on the market.
Oh, wow.
And buyers are starting to ask for repairs again on properties. We're seeing reductions in prices.
What's balanced for you as far as inventory?
Oh, God. Well, closer to like 15,000.
Okay.
But there's definitely a change. I mean, I put a home on the market last weekend, and I mean, our average price point's closer to 7. So in Scottsdale, you don't get anything under really $1.2 million. That's decent for a single family home. And I put one on for 1.5 and haven't even had an offer yet on it.
Wow, that's such a change compared to what
you're seeing.
Used to.
Yeah.
What we've been used to. I was actually just pulling up my MLS to see what we've got listed right now. Like we've got 132 new and 1,959 pending. I was trying to see what's active. I haven't looked lately. So as far as single family homes today, in the Greenville MLS, there's 914 houses.
Oh, wow.
What do you normally want to see there?
Oh gosh, I would say 3,000 to 5,000 at least.
Okay.
I mean, we've got 1,900 pending right now, and people are fighting over them. We're really feeling the crunch of that new construction shortage too here. Greenville was our market was also pretty protected through the recession. We didn't really have we had a downturn, but not a downturn like everybody else. So we feel shifts later and less than a lot of the bigger, major markets. But we sit right between Atlanta and Charlotte. So we have like big cities on either side, and BMW Manufacturing's North American headquarters. And Michelin's North American headquarters are here. So we have a pretty good economy and infrastructure that really helps us. We were an old textile town, and we had a really good governor at one point that was like, hey, let's bring some manufacturing back. And he went to the automotive side of it. So all their suppliers are here. So people shift and shimmy here a lot.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
What are you seeing in your market, Jonathan? How's Utah?
It's kind of mirroring what happened last year, and I think the interest rates are helping a little bit. We like to see about 8,000 homes on market for a balanced market. Heading into winter last year and this year, we were about 4,500 homes on market, and come mid-January, we're dipping down to about 1,800 homes on market midweek. So about a sixth of what we normally would want to see. And it's just pretty much exactly like last year. Mid-April, inventory started climbing again. We're about 3,300 homes on market. It's kind of weird. We have pocket neighborhoods here that are kind of more desirable and more active. And so those specific neighborhoods are still getting, we list a home and you get 25 to 35 offers. Just insanity. But our average listings, we're going back down to like 2 or 3 multiple offers instead of 20 or 30. And a little bit more reasonable, not, $20,000 cash over appraisal or waiving appraisal entirely. Those are starting to go away a little bit at a time, which is really nice. So I'm
ready for that to happen.
Yeah.
So
we led the nation last year in equity gain. So we had a 27% appreciation last year. So for the first time homebuyer market has just been obliterated here. It's awful.
Yeah. I think we saw over 30% here in Arizona.
I actually moved a client from Utah to Greenville last year. I don't know what part, but they really, really did well on their home there, and it allowed them to put a new construction under contract that unfortunately has taken about 18 months to build. But in the meantime, they bought a townhome here too with the extra money that they got.
Oh, wow.
Their house. So
Awesome.
really, he's military, like he's over an ROTC program here, but his house sold for like $90,000 or $100,000 over asking out there, like something stupid. He had paid like $400 for it, and it sold for like almost $700, I think. So
yeah, it's been a very weird market here.
we have pockets in our market of crazy appreciation. I bought in one of those and didn't know it 3 years ago, so I've made a ton of money on my house. But you can go a couple miles in either direction, and the appreciation's not quite what it is where I'm at. And I'm listening. I just have to. My dog is sick, so I'm kind of around.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's crazy. So over here in Brooklyn, definitely starting to see more of a shift. Not quite into, like more of a neutral market, I guess. We're getting more homes on the market. They're sitting, they're not on the market as long. But the supply is going up, and I don't feel like it's as competitive, depending on the price range, like you guys mentioned, price range, and then the pocket areas where it's not as crazy, and then there's areas that are super crazy. But definitely, like if anybody's in the price range under $500,000, it's crazy bonkers over here. And then as we start getting into like $1 million listings, I feel like it's a little bit slower, more days on market, but still not, not as long as before. They're still going into contract in 2 months, which is great.
Wow.
Well, and our weather has been, the weather determines a lot here in South Carolina. Like our people don't like cold or snow or any of that stuff. So you'll see when it starts warming up that people kind of start coming out of the woodwork. And we've noticed that this week. So we're in the high 80s this week, and everybody's like, woo, it's summer. And suddenly everybody wants to buy a house. So really interesting.
Very cool.
We're very weather driven. It's crazy. I don't understand how it works. So
we'll have weather like open houses here, but like we woke up to snow on the mountains again this morning.
yeah, it's like full blast summer here. So
That's nice.
it's still like right now, I mean, it's 5:45 here and it's 84 degrees. So
Wow.
Wow.
We're gonna hit 100 this week.
wow.
We're
We
not
don't
looking
get
at
100
that.
just soon.
We don't want that actually. It's gonna be hot.
Yeah. That's why
I'm
people
just
like
happy
it
that it's
here.
in the high 60s over here. High 60s. I'm like, yes, finally, it's not freezing cold.
Right.
We're like 50 today. It's like, okay, this
Yeah.
isn't too bad.
Yeah.
That's why people want to move here too. Is they're like, you have 4 seasons and
Hmm.
good weather. I mean, it gets hot here for a couple months in the summer and cold for a month or 2 in the winter, but the rest of the time it's like 50 to 70 and everybody's happy. So
Let me ask a question. Is anyone else losing? We only lost one, fortunately, first-time home buyers due to interest rates rising.
Yes.
we haven't lost any yet, but my stepbrother, we had to switch him to a different loan type. He had to go from conventional to FHA, and in this market, FHA is really hard to get accepted. Anything other than conventional is a real challenge. We did get him under contract this week. It's just harder. We've got a buyer's agent on our team that is like a rock star with first-time home buyers. So I just gave him to her, and she's worked
Good.
whatever. I don't understand what she does. We've trained her, but she is a fantastic buyer's agent with those lower price points. And I'm like, go get him, take him. So, but it's been a
So
challenge.
far, no, not on my end, and hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah.
I haven't had to lose any yet.
I think it helps with our price point still being lower. Like you can still buy a house here for like 150 to 200 if you can like find one and win. But you do have to like guarantee a little bit above appraisal. Like that was the like what finally helped him win was you. And they're not going to make repairs on them and things like that, but it's doable at least.
And our average price point across our MLS has gone from the mid to high 4s up to the low 6s over the last like 18 months.
The first time
So
home buyer can't buy a house, and I mean,
No, these guys were only qualified to 305, and they have 2 teenagers and dogs, so they needed single family. And then interest rates came up, and they went all the way down to like 260, and it's like there's literally nothing.
tell them to come to South Carolina. We can find them a house here.
Yeah,
Single
we might have to ship them your way.
yeah. It's still hard, but it can be done.
Yeah, and see here, it's not even. It won't happen. Any single family home that gets listed under 300 is just in awful shape. There was one in the news a couple days ago. It was a meth house in Salt Lake at 550. So more offers for cash.
Ugh, gross.
All that Cali Cash though is really pushing ours up, kind of like you talked about. We call it Cali Cash, but
Yeah.
that's been hard. It's been so many people can come in and buy, a $200,000-$300,000 house for cash. They are beating out a lot of our first timers. There's some neighborhoods trying to put some like restrictions in place on investors and things to try to help.
Have you
Good.
guys heard of that Homeward program at all? Have you used that?
Mm-mm.
So it's, and there's another company out here too, but it basically allows our buyers to make a cash offer.
Oh yeah,
we have
we
something
use
similar. Yeah.
Ribbon and Knock.
Yeah, similar to Knock. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost an FHA buyer recently. I mean, he just wasn't having any luck anyway with an FHA loan. And then when the rates went up, there was just nothing we can find for him.
Yeah.
And it's hard to cut them loose because if you're like us, like our business is relationship based, not transaction based. So I always feel like I failed my people when I can't get them, what they need and where they want to be and things like that.
That's how our business is we're all repeat and referral. We do not prospect at all.
We do a little bit of like geographical farming, but most of it's in our own neighborhoods where people know us. That's where we find the most success, but everything's sphere and agent referrals. So it's hard, but we have found that our buyers are like, so our team takes most of the lower end buyers, and Lisa and I end up with like a lot of the higher price point buyers. But they're a lot more demanding is what we found lately too. Like we had one this week want us to come to their house at 8:00 at night to write an offer. And we were like, no, actually we're not doing that. Sorry.
You can sign it in your email.
Yeah. And we're like, that's not how that's going to work. So, and just be really demanding. People want to see houses like in the evenings on weekends and things like that, where we really we don't mind doing that at times. I'm not saying that we won't, but
Depends on the situation, right? The circumstances.
It
Everybody
does.
has different schedules sometimes.
It does, but when you've got somebody that like you're consistently having to reset expectations with, we found that to be a big challenge for us. Our market centers had masterminds around it, with the market like it is here, everybody feels like a pop-up agent, where our buyers in their mindset, they have to go right that minute to see a house. And you don't always have to do that. Usually you can plan at least a few hours ahead, but they want us to go right then. So they a lot of times forget that we have other buyers or sellers or families or anything else.
We have a life.
Yeah. So, there's two of us, so it doesn't happen often, but we've seen more and more lately. One of our biggest things that we're trying to work through is how to balance that.
Do you have a formal sit-down buyer consultation?
We do.
Do you set the expectation of how looking at homes goes in there?
Yep.
Okay.
But sometimes it just we find that when they start looking and they miss out on a couple or they lose a couple, it's like their intensity just gets up here.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to reset that expectation over and over and over again.
Depending on price point, we're setting the expectation in a buyer console right now. I met with a lady, she's looking for a $400,000 to $500,000 townhome. I said, hey, we have more experience than most Utah agents. The average Utah agent helps 1.6 families a year. We've helped about 300 families over the last 8 years.
Right.
We really know what we're doing. And our average buyer will still write 3 to 5 offers before we get one accepted.
Right.
So if you can stick with it and remain calm, we can get you a home.
Yep.
And that setting that expectation, you're probably going to lose out on a couple.
We tell them that too.
Don't get your hopes up. Okay.
These people are just I have never, in my 7 years of real estate dealing with people, I've never seen buyers just our buyers in general are right now. Like I said, our office, all the seasoned agents are what the heck is going on with all these people? It's like they've all lost their minds. Everyone.
It's going crazy. But you also have to think about what they're seeing, what the media is portraying as well.
It's made it
right?
hard.
It's already kind of crazy, and then they hype it up.
Mm-hmm.
And they make it a lot worse than it already is. So I think that doesn't help our situation where we're trying to walk our clients through what's really going on,
right?
Or how to proceed or what to expect. They're just no, I need this house now, and I don't want to. Hold on, calm down. It's gonna be okay.
We have a licensed assistant, and she's getting ready to morph into a hybrid showing assistant role for us to try to alleviate the issue before summer hits completely. Yeah. She's already showing for us, but we're really gonna give a lot of our buyers to her as a showing assistant just because it should at least we're not having to we've got a 2 hour or 2.5 hour gap of span of area we serve. So a lot of times what we see too is that folks come in where they can buy is they want to see a house up here and a house over here and a house down here, because if you're moving to the area, you don't really care where you're at. It doesn't matter. You don't have parents to be close to here or family to be close to here or whatever. So it's getting to where we're an hour in between showings, which is hard too.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just having to learn to set some expectations with people and set them again and set them and set them again and set them and set them again. So
we've got a buyer an hour and 45-minute drive in one direction from here.
God.
And we know the area, but it still is just awful to try and get down there. So I found a showing agent today and I said, hey, look, I need someone dedicated. If you can wait till closing, I'll give you $700 out of the closing, which they're buying a $700,000 home. So
right.
Giving him $700 out of a $21,000 commission, he was so excited for the opportunity to help. I'm like, dude, you are saving me at minimum 3 hours every time I need to show one house to them. Mm-hmm. So I am happy to give away that leverage or to give away the money and pay for it.
That's where we're at with the showing assistant too. We're it's time to do something. We are not going to work daylight to dark all summer. So we really had to set that. It's been an interesting change. Our team, we hired geographically because of the span of our area, so we got one in the eastern part and one in the western part, and then we sit in the middle. So we've usually got somebody to help, but it's just gotten crazy out of control. Everybody thinks they can move to South Carolina and get 5 acres and a house for $200,000, and that's not how it works anymore. So
not anymore.
Nope, not anymore. It did a couple of years ago for real, but not anymore. So.
And Samantha, you have hosted different events here and there. Are you still hosting them right now?
Oh yeah, we just had Easter egg hunt Recently, we had about 250 people at that. And then
Wow.
we did a shredding event about a couple weeks after that, which was pretty
A
good.
shredding event's really
shredding-
cool.
Yeah.
We do client events too, but I've never thought of a shredding event.
So we just did our second one, and I did not realize it was the biggest event I've ever done. I
Wow.
can't believe how many people show up for it.
What does something like that
For the
cost,
shredding?
out of curiosity?
Oh, it was like it cost me nothing. It was like $500 for the truck, and my sponsors took care of it.
Yeah, we get sponsors to cover most of our
Yeah.
fees.
So it was very inexpensive.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
rent
that
out a
is
water
awesome.
park every summer, so we have that in about 6 weeks.
Nice.
We do it like exclusively for an evening for our clients, and they love it. And it's like $1,800, and you can buy 800 people or something. So it's
That's great.
nothing.
I want to start planning something. I just haven't done it yet, just because it's been so up and down here as far as like what's allowed, what's not allowed. Are people getting together? Are they not getting together? And I feel within the last couple of weeks, it's been a lot more lenient.
That's good.
Even like within our office, we're just doing a lot more in-person stuff with gathering together. So I do want to try to put something in for this summer, maybe multiple events. I just hadn't done it yet. I was like, let me wait a little bit longer, because I feel like out of all the US, New York has been the strictest. It's been the craziest.
I was gonna say
and-
we've been open here for like 18 months. Like it
I
was
know,
like
it's
COVID happened for about 6 months, and then everybody was like, whatever. And we've been back in person for like, I swear, a year. So I feel
No,
like-
I just feel like we're barely getting there, guys. What were you going to say, Samantha?
I don't know that we ever really shut down here. So
we didn't really
Yeah.
either.
we did one online event, and then we went back to doing our regular
Our
events.
restaurants were closed for like 3 weeks, and then they were like, yeah, no, that's not gonna work around here. And like our churches never closed. Like we've all had
My
COVID.
daughter's school, we're doing a block party next month. We're hosting a block party. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, we're finally getting people together. Like, we're actually doing something in public as a big gathering. And it's not just the school, it's going to be open to the public, which means it's going to be even bigger, because it's like a block party in Brooklyn. Of course, people are going to show up.
That'll be cool.
That's
Yeah.
so fun.
Are you sponsoring that event at all?
I'm helping out with it. I'm actually organizing it. Like, I'm part of the PTA, and I'm like the main person in charge of organizing and getting everything together. So it should be a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
That sounds
Yeah.
fun. We're coming to New York for Thanksgiving. My daughter's dancing in the Macy's parade, so I'm excited.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Well, hey, I gotta jump off, guys, but I wanted to share one
Okay.
thing with you.
Yes.
The owner of our region does his name is Marcus Green. Matt Green, who's the director of technology for KW right now. It's his brothers who owns our region.
Oh, cool.
So we call them quarterly Marcus updates, where he goes over our whole market and breaks everything down. And the nugget that we're turning into a story for our clients today is the builds. I'll send you guys a picture of the slide. It's the builds by decade in the U.S. In the last 4 decades, we were between 26 and 29 million new homes every decade. 2010 to 2020, we only built 5.6 million.
Yeah, send me that. That's
Wow.
crazy.
So there's like a
That's
23 million home deficit, which is,
Yeah, crazy.
I immediately sent it to 2 of my top clients. I'm like, hey, I know you guys have asked me about the housing crisis. This is the housing crisis in the slide. Like this is
Wow.
one of the biggest contributors right here. So we're turning that into a video to explain to our clients, like there are other things, but the big reason is supply and demand. And this isn't a bubble. The people that keep saying, oh, we're in a bubble and we're going to wait. And I've got one of my really good friends that I had never convinced to buy a home. He's been saying we're in a bubble. I'm going to wait for the crash for 8 years now.
Right.
And I got to show him one of the first homes that I ever showed him that he didn't pull the trigger on at like $180,000, sold for like $670,000 recently. I was like,
Crazy.
do you still want to wait for the
Yours,
crash?
huh?
Because now you're
Right.
priced out of the market. So,
Yeah.
okay, thank you for putting this together. I will get that slide over to you guys. And
Yeah,
best
that'd be
luck,
great.
everyone. That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
it was
good
Thank
seeing you.
Kind of get together and talk about the market. So,
Oh, yeah, we're actually running out of time, too. All right.
okay. Thank you guys.
Bye, John.
Thank you. Yeah, it was good seeing